Grilled New York strips and asparagus. Right out of the Ninja Foodi Smart XL Grill recipe book that came with it. And I'm going to do pretty much what they got right here. I'm going to change it just a little bit. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese and some lemon juice to the asparagus, because that's the way we like it. I'm also going to show you some pointers on the things I've learned over the years from using a thermometer probe, and it's kind of important. I'm John Sanders, also known as Jelly 007. Let's get this started. All right, I wanted to kind of explain what we're working with and what we have here, and like this right here, which is something I picked up the other day. I haven't used it yet. It's an asparagus prep peeler made by OXO. It looks pretty neat. I don't have links on my page. You'll just have to go to OXO and find this. If you've ever eaten asparagus before, sometimes the larger ones, they need to be trimmed, and you know what I mean if you have. Now, we're not going to use all of this asparagus. I'm probably going to use about half of it. I got that at Sam's. Here's the Parmesan Reggiano, actually, that I'm going to use to put on my asparagus with about half of that lemon. Just squeeze about half that lemon on it. And that's the way we eat them. You don't have to do that. Just put a little oil on them. And speaking of oil, the reason I have all three of these out is if you watch my channel, you know I'm a big advocate of avocado oil. I love it, especially for air fryers and indoor grills because of its high smoke point. And I'll get off of that. What I'm getting on is there's a lot on the market now similar to these. I bought all three of these at Target, but a lot of places carry it. I mean, everybody has it, but it doesn't use any propellants. And you just have to look for a kind that doesn't use propellants. And sometimes it's worded different. Sometimes they do it different. Like sometimes it's just air. I think that might be, well, one of these is just propelled by air. So you get no propellants on your food, and I don't have to get into all that. But sometimes, and I don't know if any of these are, sometimes I use a bag system, and they may have propellants, but the bag separates it so it doesn't come out in your house and on your food. So, next thing, here are the steaks. I got those from Ingles. They're supposed to be cut 1 3/4 inches. We're going to see. I need them to be exactly the same, because I'm also going to show you a method, if these are exactly the same, of how to get one, say, a medium rare and one well done using one thermometer probe. And they describe how to do it in the Ninja book. So, and the other thing I'm going to do is show you how to, I mean, it sounds simple, but and you just have to be careful. And I'm going to show you my method for inserting this probe to where I know it's as close to perfect as I can get it. So I'm going to get these unwrapped. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to insert that, and we're going to get this preheated. Be back. Okay, so one of the things that comes with your Ninja grill is this, and I highly recommend keeping up with it. It's folded up like this, and it's in the packaging. It shows you a couple of things that are really important. One is how to place the thermometer, and I'm going to show you how I do it, but they have a diagram here and shows you what's right and what's wrong. And it's important. It's more important than most people think, and I've learned that over the several years I've used probes. Here's another thing they show, the degrees of doneness, because on a steak, you can select up to 9 different, it has 9 settings, and right there is what they should look like at that point. But here's the thing we're going to be doing tonight, which I'm going to have to do a little bit of finagling on. And but here's the other thing, using the thermometer in different cooking scenarios. And they have 3 different scenarios. One is same proteins and size, different doneness. One is same proteins, different sizes, and one is 2 different proteins. So you can maybe get a screenshot of that and read what you do, but you'll get this when you buy the grill. But here's the one we're doing tonight, and that is same proteins and size, different doneness. And I'm going to explain how to do it, and maybe if you screenshot it, you can read it. But here's the important part. Now, baby doll, my wife picked these steaks up, and she asked for 1 3/4 inch steaks. Well, let me say something. You just about have to stress it. It's because people don't, butchers are not always worried that much about how close they are. Well, it matters in this situation. That's my opinion. I know I'm getting lengthy in this, but you'll just have to fast forward through it if you don't need to. But this turns into about 1.5 inches. This one is a little less than that. Not much, but a little bit. So I don't know if there's a perfect way to get the exact steak, but that's what if you ask me, that's what you need to use the method that I'm using, which is this one right here. Now, the reason is because you're going to insert this in the steak you want the donest. Say you want a well-done steak and a medium rare steak. All right, well, you're going to insert this as perfect as you can get it. I'm about to show that part too. And then you'll just watch your temperatures down here, and as it gets to whatever you want this steak, which doesn't have anything in it, it's sitting over by itself cooking, and this one says it's at medium rare. If they're the same size and thickness, then this one should be medium rare. So you remove the medium rare, you leave the one you want to well done in the grill. Common sense, it makes sense, it's a good idea, and I've really never thought about it. I've got probes that I have 3 or 4 with, and I usually watch each steak, which might be a little better of an idea, but if you only got one, that works. So to get off of that, I'm going to get set up where I can show you how I insert a probe. I'll be back. Okay, so this is the method I use to insert a probe in a steak and try and get it as centered as possible, and that is in this direction and this direction. If you notice, this one right here is a little thicker here, and so what I would do in this one, and I'm going to probe the other one, by the way, because it's a little thinner, and I'm going to be pulling one for, if you know how I eat a steak, and I've said it before, is I like mine where a good veterinarian can get them back on their feet in about 30 minutes. So I'm going to leave the thicker one, the one I'm going to eat, unprobed because I'm pulling it first. Well, if you look at this, you want to find the center, which would be right there. Well, the other part you would look at is where the thickest part of the steak is in this fashion. So if I were probing this steak, say, just for instance, I would look for about right there. There's where I want the tip of that steak to be, and I also want it to be right there. So I would lay it back down, I would position it to where I think it needs to be, and then I would look right here where I got like a 1/4 inch hanging out, and I would probe that steak right there. But we're not. We're probing this one. So I'm going to do the same thing. In fact, we'll do this part first. This is how I do it. I would say right there is where I want the tip of this probe to end up, right there. So now I know I need about that much hanging out when I'm done, and I hope you can see that well enough to know what I'm talking about, but about that much hanging out. Then I'm going to stand it up. I know about where I want it right here, and I'm going to go right in the center of it right here. So now all I have to do is this. And like I said, it looks simple, and it is, but you got to make sure you are right where you want that probe to be, right in the center. And hold it as close as possible and just insert it like that. Now that probe should be about right there. And that's about all you can do. You're not going to hit the dead center every time, and you shouldn't let it be an issue to you, but that's the method I use. So anyhow, now you know, and there you go, and we're fixing to preheat this and get started. Okay, so I've got the grill preheating on high, which is what the recipe calls for, and it sounds good to me. One thing they did say was they asked for canola oil to be brushed on the steaks. Well, if you watch my videos, you know how I feel about that, and I'm using avocado because of the high smoke point. But I lightly sprayed them. Not even sure they need oil, but I did because they asked for it. And then my normal, always on a steak, all I ever put is salt and pepper. That's what you see. So we're letting this preheat, and when that's done, we're going to get those started, and I'll be back. Okay, so the grill is ready. I normally let it go. You got 10 minutes. That's one of the beauties of this. You have 10 minutes after it says add food before you actually have to do it or it turns off. Well, I want to show this right quick. I'm getting this kind of marinated. I went ahead and used the whole lemon, but you can see right here, there's the description of it. It seems like a pretty neat device, and it has more uses than I'm using it for, because normally I break the ends off. I just take one like this and I just bend it till it snaps, and I know that's the tender part, and you kind of get rid of the woody or the kind of tough end, or what they call woody. But right here, is another thing I'm trying. I'm going to do this with some of them, just trim back that woody end and get some of that, that right there off. And I've got some that are just that, and then I've got some that are this. So lemon juice is on there. Here's the Parmesan we're fixing to add. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that on, and then I'll put a little salt and pepper. I'm going to save, or I'll grate some more, but I got a little bit of that. So right now, it's time to add these steaks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise that lid. Whoops. I'm going to set this one right here. I'm going to set this one right here. Now remember, this one's a little thicker, and this is the one that's going to be our well done, and the other one's going to be my medium rare that the veterinarian can get back on his feet. And we're going to be watching, and I forgot to set that preheat. We're going to go ahead and set this. We'll go ahead and set this to well done. We're going to let one go all the way to well done, kind of against my better judgment. Move this, make sure you can see it. But the one we have probed will be going all the way up to number 9, which was the well right here. So when this flips over to medium rare, it's at rare right now. The steak's at 62 degrees. By the internal temp. When it flips over to medium rare, as soon as it comes off of rare, I'm going to pull it out. I'll be back. Okay, right there, it's asking to flip steaks, and I'm sorry I didn't start a timer, but that's roughly right at 8 minutes. So we're going to flip these steaks, and they look excellent. It's the first time the lid's been opened. There's mine. Oh man, look at those grill marks. Those do look good. Both of them do. So all we're going to do is position them a little bit better. Now we're waiting. It's flipped to medium rare, but it says the current temp is 111. So I usually eat my steaks around 125 to 130. But it's flipped to medium rare, and I said I was going to get it out. I'm going to give it just a second to get some grill marks. I had to get that out of the sink. I'm going to give it just a second. I want to get some grill marks. In fact, I should have pressed it down, I guess. I didn't know it was going to happen that quick. And I think you're supposed to do that in anyway. So I'm giving it just a few minutes. At 115 internal, that's lower than I normally pull my steaks. But again, you know, I can eat them in a lot of different ways. We're going to give, oh, it just went to medium. We're pulling it. So let's see how it looks on this side. And it don't look bad. It got a mark. It got some marks. Let's see if you can see that. I mean, I'm not complaining. I would definitely serve it this side up. Now, the thing is, in fact, to keep me from getting confused, I'm going to put that on that side. Because it didn't flip. It didn't ask me to flip till fairly late, probably because it's set for a well-done steak. But anyhow, be back in a minute when that gets to, as bad as it sounds, to well. I'm not crazy about a well-done steak, but I have people that will eat it, I guarantee you. Be back then. As a matter of fact, I may leave it running just so you can see how long it takes to climb that scale. And quite honestly, that moved pretty quick to medium. And I have the asparagus right here. Lemon juice, salt, pepper, and my Parmesan. And as soon as that's done, as soon as this one gets to, which it's going quick, so I'm glad I didn't turn the camera off. We're at medium well already, or what they consider medium well. And they're considering carryover temp, and they're probably right. I'm not second guessing them. It's a little earlier when those temps were than I would have pulled my steak, but they may know more about what they're doing than I think. And 129 at medium well, and as soon as that we'll let this one completely shut off. We'll let it go all the way to where it's when it says get food or remove steak or ever how it words it. So we'll just kind of watch it for a minute, and I'll be quiet, believe it or not. Yeah, I can't be quiet. Let's look at this. There's what that looks like. Asparagus with lemon juice and Parmesan is, it'll convert people that, I say it in my last video that I do asparagus on. It will convert people that don't normally eat asparagus. It's that good. It really is. Now, I've never done it on this machine, so we're going to find that out. I guess we're just going to wait. I'm not real sure how it does a well done, but we should be getting close. You can see the temps climbing in considerably fast. I mean, it's turning it on, in other words. For the record. I would say, I guess now they're going to be quiet. There it goes. There it finally goes to well. I think there's more of a degree change between, say, medium and medium well than there is medium well to well. All right, it seemed to me. I didn't look back on the video, but I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on it to tell me to remove the steak. And by the way, then we got to set it up for the asparagus. Hey, if nothing else, it's real time. This is actually how long it takes to cook an 1.5 inch steak. I'll say this, it smells good. That one looks excellent, man. Those marks did very well. I got a feeling this one will be like that on both sides. All right, there it says get food. Let's get food. Wow. Hey, it looks good. It looks good too. Now, let's see what the other side looks like. It looks good. I like this side better, so I'm going to leave it turned up. I'm going to leave the probe in. Now, what we have to do, and it's wanting us to rest 3 to 5 minutes, so it started the timer for us. Now, this is the part I'm not positive, but I'm going to be able to do the rest and put this asparagus on, because we got to do 4 minutes according to the recipe. I'll show it to you right here. It says what it says right there. And if I read it right, we got to change this time to 4 minutes. So I'm going to toss them around just a little bit, drop them in. Of course, I like to straighten them out a little bit, get them where I can close the grill back. But with that residual heat, it probably wouldn't need the fan running, but it wants it, so I'm going to make it happen. I got to find something to wipe my hands off with. I'm a little confused on the rest part, because if it mentioned that when cooking and resting are complete, remove the thermometer. While steaks are resting, place asparagus on grill grate. Select grill and set to high. So it said, all right, it's on high. And then we got to go to 4 minutes and hit start. I'm going to make sure I did that right. Yeah, display set the time to 4 minutes. Press start, stop to begin. And it says skip preheat. By the way, if you want to skip preheat, you press this. All right, and now we would just do that to let it know to start cooking. So, asparagus is off and running. I'll be back. Okay, and just for the record, if you ever want to know what your probe is at, you just hold the manual button down for 2 seconds, and it'll show you that steak is at 161 degrees, because I still have the probe in it. And then when you want to go back to your timer, maybe it would go back, I don't know, but if you hold it down another 2 seconds, it'll go back to timing. So now you know. We got 48 seconds. In fact, let's flip them around a little bit. I don't know if that timer stops. Let's see. It does. So that's good. And I put a good many on here, so I may let them go a little longer than that 4 minutes, because I'm not in a hurry. But I'm going to move these around. So at 3 minutes, I rolled them around. You can see how they look. And they're steaming off a little bit, so everything looks good. We're back and running. Back in a minute. Okay, I'm going to change their numbers. I'm going to add 2 minutes at least. You know what? 3. I can watch it. But you can see they didn't look all the way. They're getting close, though. They're getting close. But I actually added 3 minutes. I don't know I'll let it run that long, but I'm sure I'll pull it out by the end of that. So now you know. And that's how simple it is. You just add time, and it's like the other one. This is a really neat device, and I used to use my other grill a lot. It's got a lot of good features. All right, for the record, I had to hit start before it would start counting. So it was just flashing that 3, and I hit start. It started counting. I don't want to leave you hanging and not knowing what to do there. Okay, so I effectively added 2 minutes, and I'm going to raise this grill. In fact, they look perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to get these off. Make sure everything looks good there. It does. I'm going to put them right here. So our steak, or this steak, has rested probably long enough. The other one for sure. So we're about to cut one of them. But I'm going to get these off. Get everything, the camera set up where you can see a little bit better. And we're going to do that. So let me get set up, and I'll be back. All right. So just for total time, we're somewhere around, I'm going to call it 25 minutes, start to finish. And that's certainly not bad. Let's see if I can do this without that starting up. I'm going to stop it, slide it back just a little bit. Try and get this in front of the camera a little bit better. The asparagus looks excellent. I mean, I've got a little more of this to add. So that is really hard to beat. Now, I love asparagus. So does Baby Doll. But right now, we're going to take a couple of cuts. I'm going to get a little bit better right here. And we're going to make some cuts on these steaks so you can see the difference in the well done and the medium rare. So I'm going to cut it right in the center right here. And there is medium rare, and that is absolutely about as perfect as you get for me. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll even show you the other side. And as you saw, the marks on this side didn't really have time. So that's understandable because we're trying to cook 2 different temperatures. But here comes the well done. And be honest with you, I could probably still eat that. I mean, that's not bad right there. And in fact, I can get this one's not attached. That doesn't look bad. It's still a little pink, so I guess you could go a little further. But anyhow, I'm going to make some of those YouTube pictures we make. I'm going to cut it up and make a picture. And I'll be back, and we're going to taste it. All right, right there it is. And you can obviously see the differences from, I call that rare to medium rare because it did switch. And then what they call well done. And it looks to me, that is as far as I would ever consider taking one. But you know something? I could almost eat that. I mean, I think even I have eaten them like that before. So I'll get off of that. This right here, absolutely excellent. Now, I tried some of that end, it didn't work. I'll just say, trimming off that woody, thick grain skin doesn't do all it should. Now, as far as tasting the steaks, and one other thing I'll say, here's the telltale sign to know how close you were to the center of the steak. I did not miss that very much, very little at all. And if you remember, it was thicker a little bit on the side, so I kind of shot it a little bit for the side, and I got it. I mean, that's how, it's important though, if you think about it. If you had, say, probed it way up here or something, you're going to get bad ratings. I'll just put it like that. I'm going to taste this steak. I'm sure all of you know that it's good. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a little better, closer look at it. Let's see. That is, to me, that is what a steak should be. And the grill marks are excellent. Now the other side, it didn't have time, obviously. But this one, man, you saw it before I cut it. It was pretty. It was a good looking steak and had decent grill marks. I'm going to taste this one first. And I honestly could eat that. It's definitely not dry. And like a lot of steaks that are well done are. I assure you, this is good. If I put it all in my mouth, I'm not going to be able to talk. So anyhow, hey, there's my thumbs up right over there. If y'all don't mind, if you got anything from this or you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. It's turned into a great big deal nowadays. I love y'all all. Y'all come back to see me. Have a great night, and cook you a New York strip steak and some asparagus. It works. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.